tell him she grabbed my wrist. He knew she grabbed my wrist because I didn't put my hand out every time she reached for me. So what I want to know is just your perspective on that, because what he said is that she grabbed my wrist because she was trying to lead you in a different direction than you was going in with that situation or what have you. So I don't know if you have any insight on something like that, a child coming or
Okay,
what
first
that
of
might
all,
mean, but I have unfinished business with my children.
anytime you see death in a dream, it don't mean death. It means change. All right. So the change is coming in with the new generation, and the skin color won't matter. Right. So,
And how can you explain that?
excuse me, come on. Look, chronic. Look, the government is masquerading as the government. In 1776, when they had the so-called American Revolution, and a ceasefire was determined, the only people who had rightful ownership of land was organic people that was already here when the settlers came. The establishment of the United States under the Constitution the first time was a political move, and it was an effort to unify forces to bear down on the Midwest for the Louisiana Purchase, all the setup. So they came with the second Constitution in the blood of Crispus Attucks that was kept in the Washington Memorial, because the blood of the righteous shall not be spilled in vain. And so they know that we're going to follow all of the rules in order to redeem the blood of the righteous. So once this is done, the artificial jurisdiction is then based on propaganda, right? So what did they do to propagandize the citizenry, right? 4th of July celebrations. So now, if we figure out what the 4th of July is really celebrating, we can break free from the trap. Because the same way they came in is the same way they got to go out. So they took to set up a corporate merger of the Virginia Company and the Northwest Trading Company, both slave trading companies that also traded in tobacco, furs, and other things before they merged to be the corporate intermediary government until the organic people of the land learned to run the government, right? At which time they're supposed to revert automatically back to the jurisdiction of the tribes, organic to the land. This is all about what the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was about, right?
You're talking about between Sidi Abdullah Muhammad and George Washington, correct?
Yeah. Okay, now, this treaty is them watching over us to ensure that the parameters is kept. But they came in with a rogue group under the Rockefeller family and the Prescotts and the Bush family, who began to take over the banking system of the country and the intelligence sector of the country. This is when they start rolling out their plan to bring in a new world order by covering 1,000 points of light. 1,000 points of light that they're speaking about is 1,000 chiefs that they had their eyes on across the land. Then they were supposed to murder them all at the same time in a ritual format on July the 4th, 2019.
Right.
That's when the contract expired. The only way to stop it is we have to catch George Herbert Walker Bush, Obama, Bill Clinton, and G. Dummy and Jeb in their dirt. The 1,000 points of light that George Bush was speaking about in the New World Order speech was literally 1,000 chiefs across the land that they located to murder in a ritual.
Wow. So
all this go
come
ahead.
out.
It's gonna come out when the CIA is exposed and the whole Bush plot is exposed. And it's called the Garden Plot. That's what the Garden Plot was all about. Rex 84, Operation Cable Cutter, all that shit was all about that.
So the question becomes now, being as though we see that there is a concentrated effort to hinder us, and it should have already been seen by the mass majority. How do we protect ourselves from that? Is it just through knowledge alone? And another question, let's get here first. Why have we never formed a military?
That's the key point. But we did. Y'all just don't know who the military is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The FOI is our military.
They some bad motherfuckers. They would break your ass up too, bro.
Not only that though, they can mobilize Bloods, Crips, Vice Lords, BDs, BGs, GDs, Latin Kings, Latin Counts. They can mobilize all of them from a position of respect, from being everywhere in the community, in constant communication with these people. They the only people in our community that's everywhere we at that can reach all our people at a moment's notice is the Nation of Islam. Nobody else has the reach into the depths of our community like that.
And so we would consider them our military.
Our military and our intelligence community.
So let's go here with it then. Shit. While we at it, if that's the case, what can we expect from them?
Nothing.
As far as,
Nothing. You can expect that they're going to continue to try to sabotage us at every turn. That's the only thing you can expect from them.
No, I'm talking about the FOI.
Oh, they're going to be instrumental in everything. You look at it like this. If one of the chiefs rise up on the land and they need a stable foundation in which to launch an offensive, where would they look to make an allegiance that can reach into all of our communities?
Okay.
There's nobody else that they could reach for but the Nation of Islam, because nobody else has that reach. Only the FOI got that reach. In New York, a FOI can introduce me to the biggest 5%ers, the biggest people in Queensbridge, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Harlem. The Fruit of Islam can walk you through all of them places unmolested to meet the biggest people around there with no resistance. Nobody else can do that. They can do it in Chicago. They can do it in Atlanta. They can do it in Miami. They can do it in DC. They can do it in Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego. They can do it in Portland. They can do it in Cleveland. They can do it in Jackson, Mississippi, Macomb, Mississippi. Everywhere they got some FOI. The people know them personally. They the only reach that you can get. They like everywhere. They like a blood supply to the community. They everywhere, like veins. They the only organization that's functional, that stood the test of time, and that has that reach. Nobody else has it. The FOI is the most critical organization in the community right now. Because while we having this conversation on social media, they boots on the ground having conversations face to face with people.
So, that particular diplomatic approach, do you think that that's something that that we need to be doing with, more larger figures that's, more relative to our liberation?
We don't know who those larger figures is. The only time we gonna know is when we know. But the thing is, the top is unified. It's the grassroots that need to understand what's taking place in order that it takes place. Or else they're going to get hit with the shock and awe. And then some of them is going to have, literally just going to have a heart attack, drop dead right there when they see what's going on. Because people like me that's been telling them, they thought we was crazy at one point. Now they starting to ask us, wait a minute, didn't you say that? Wasn't that what you was talking about? You making too much shit match up. How you doing that? That's where we at with it now. Them the questions they asking now. The people they were saying was crazy and had wrote off before, now they asking them, that information you told me 2 years ago, where'd you get that from? Because that shit happened just like you said.
Yeah, that's crazy. What makes our people not listen to us?
Mm-hmm.
What
hindsight,
really,
hindsight 2020.
What makes our people not really listen to us? Like motherfuckers got all day to just be making up shit and just, you know what I mean? Like, bro, niggas ain't got all day to just be making up shit.
Right. Well, some of them want instant gratification.
Because they gotta be.
You got to lay the whole puzzle out in front of them and put the pieces together one at a time so they can see the big picture. Or else they don't. That's too much work. They don't want the work. They want somebody else to do the work, and then they want to come along and reap the benefit. They want to be part of the payout, but they don't want to be part of the struggle.
Right. They don't want to put the work in, but they want to reap the rewards, basically.
Yeah. They don't want the struggle, but they want the rewards.
The brother Ray said, what's the role of Farrakhan during this time?
Farrakhan is the spokesperson right now until we see what's going on. All of our leaders is in Ravenrock. So it's a lot of them y'all don't even probably know they exist. But they was reorganizing and restructuring government. This is what's taking so long. And the people's awareness of what's taking place and the absurdities that they putting in front of their face that they're not even noticing.
So what is Ravenrock?
That's NORAD continuity of government in the Cheyenne Mountains of Colorado. It's a transitional team from the old legal fiction that's closed now to the organic people of the land, and how we're going to be dealing with people is going to be based on this council of elders that we're going to use their advice and apply solutions to problems instead of just talking about them all the time.
You goddamn right, because that shit gets old. Like all that rhetoric, like, bro, let's do something. Like stuff. Like, why the fuck is we sitting around? Like, let's do something. So the last thing I wanted to get you to address is the big America. And what I mean by America is this particular land, you know, was built on the backs of our ancestors. And a lot of people feel like America should be ours. Like not going back to Africa or moving and planning to go somewhere else, like, you know, like it was back in the days of Marcus Garvey, but more so right here, right now, conquer this shit and make this ours. What is your perspective on that?
First of all, I ain't from Africa. I'm from over here. I might have some African blood in my DNA through my father line, but I'm from over here. I'm organic to this land. And as far as us reclaiming the organic dominion of the land, this is what we doing. This is what the whole campaign I'm on right now is, informing the grassroots that the organic people is that Ravenrock, Colorado continuity of government reclaiming the kingdom for the righteous, which is us.
That shit sounds so good. It sent chills through my body. I'm with the shits. So, you know, but that's just me. They tell me that I don't really need to propagate because they say I'm too militant. So I just teach language, man, and just keep it at that. But shit, look, real, bro. Huh?
I'm with to chop their head off, shoot them between the eyes. I'm with all that shit. I'm with to give them.
When I say that,
listen, I'm giving motherfuckers the same amount of mercy they gave us, the same amount of respect they gave us, the same amount of compassion they gave us. Give them exactly what they gave us.
That's it's crazy, fair. Man, because when I say that, the elders get on me. They like, oh,
but look, do the math. It's fair. They decided who we gonna act. We just matching energy to balance this shit out.
But when I say that, they get on me and be like, nah, man, what we promoting, brother? You can't be promoting. I was like, bro.
Listen,
Oh man, they get out my case for it.
You know what the biggest concern of the elders is? Is we not gonna recognize the real enemy, the motherfuckers that look like us that ain't us.
Oh, that's the first motherfuckers that we got to clean up. What are you talking about? I'm on that hard.
But they worrying that we ain't gonna see them and we gonna attack the cat's paw.
Oh no, that ain't how that supposed to go. We got to clean up. We got to clean up our own house before we go trying to clean up somebody else's house.
You dig?
Shit. You know what I learned a long time ago, man? I learned that because I studied so much shit after I came out of the tab. I wanted to have a more broader sense of other people's perspective of like world knowledge. And one thing I studied was all of the major revolutions, tribal wars, tribal leaders, you know, the culture of that they had before the war, during the war, after the war. And what I noticed is that the first thing everybody did was get everybody that was part of them and what looked like them either on board or out the fucking way. Everybody. I'm talking about from Africa to Cuba to Brazil to all of these places. They united their people around what the agenda was. And those that wasn't with the agenda, yo, your ass is out of here. Your ass is definitely out of here, bro. So I don't understand how people can move.
The Cuban refugee crisis. That was because Castro told him you either with us or against us. If you was against us, you can either leave or die.
The same thing with the Arabs. The Arabs did the same thing. When ISIS was taking over Iraq, they was going through the neighborhoods and like, yo, all the men need to pledge their allegiance to this mission. If you ain't trying to pledge allegiance to this mission, they wasn't only just telling them to leave, but they was like, you can't take nothing with you. You ain't taking nothing that belongs to Iraq nowhere else, nigga. Yeah, get the fuck up out of here.
ISIS was Obama, baby.
Man, ISIS was some bad motherfuckers started by Zarqawi. They was some bad motherfuckers.
They was started by Barack Hussein Obama.
Oh yeah, explain that to the people, man. A lot of people don't know that.
The United States government funded ISIS through